Talking golf balls is all the rage at the moment because of a certain new rule that may well be coming in. Personally, I don't think it's going to come in, but that is a different story for another day. Today we're talking about buying new golf balls and exactly what you should be doing. It's a bit of a minefield. You can go and spend an absolute fortune on golf balls. You can get some really good deals on golf balls. You'll see here I've got 3 different golf balls in my hand. One of which is a direct-to-consumer golf ball, the Seed, one of which is the #1 ball in golf, a Titleist Pro V1, and one of which is a pack of golf balls we got off Amazon. And I will say this now, you will be able to play good golf with all 3 of those golf balls. You have my word. What do I mean by that? Because so many golfers, when they are playing golf, think, oh, well, if it's not a Pro V1, then I'm not going to play my best golf, because a Pro V1, I know that it needs to hit a certain flight window and a certain RPM, and then it needs to have a certain ball speed. Now, yes, that's important if you're one of the greatest players in the world and you're very, very, very consistent. We've tested more golf balls on my channel and Chris's channel combined than probably most people in the golfing world. One of the big things we find is that value isn't necessarily there with the more expensive golf balls, especially if you lose quite a few golf balls. We all have to be open and honest here. I lose a lot of golf balls, Chris loses a lot of golf balls. And that's why when we test balls such as the Seed golf ball, which if you buy them in bulk, they're still a 3-piece urethane ball, they could still perform really well for you. And when put up against balls such as a Titleist Pro V1 or a TaylorMade TP5, you still get relatively good performance. Do they perform as good as a Pro V1? No. But how much do you need to see, difference-wise, when it comes to buying expensive golf balls? Because Pro V1s at the moment aren't very cheap. And if you hit tee shots like that, they've come right out of the toe, you're not going to see a big, that's actually okay, but you're not going to see such a big difference with certain golf balls. How many drives around would you say you hit your country best? Maybe 1 or 2. This is now the Seed golf ball. If I put a slightly better swing on this, you can see that's a much better drive. Is that down to the golf ball? No. Is it down to me playing better golf and potentially practicing more? Yes. It's really important to think you do get the right golf ball. We've spoken mainly about budget so far in this video. How much do you spend on your golf balls? How many golf balls do you lose? And how much do you think it really impacts your game? Do you think the new rules are going to impact your game heavily, or do you think it's not really going to make much difference for the average golfer? For me personally, it is important to see what window you can hit with a driver and the right golf ball. It's also important to think how a golf ball launches from your irons. Does it launch really high? What's the cover made of? Because if it's urethane cover, it will launch a little bit lower. The spin rate will allow it to rise, and that's how you get your peak height. Whereas if it's an ionomer cover, which is a slightly cheaper plastic, it generally launches higher off the bat, but spins a little bit lower. So really interesting to know that, interesting to know what to expect with a golf ball. Because if I know what to expect with the launch of a golf ball and the distance of a golf ball, does it really matter too much? I often think that with driver, you want that kind of knuckleball flight. You want to be able to send it up into orbit with a nice low spin like that one. But how important is golf ball when it comes to short game shots? We're going to talk about that in just a moment's time, because for me, I think it's probably more important than it is with your driver. And if you can sneak out another 3, 4, or maybe even 5 yards off the tee and get past your friends.
So guys, obviously making sure you've got the right ball in this part for me is essential. So obviously this is your scoring zone. Anywhere for me from around about 150 yards in, we've got just over 120 here. It's essential to have a golf ball that you know how it's going to react on the green. You need to make sure that you're buying a golf ball that stops in whichever way that you need it to. So do you have a slower swing speed? Do you need something with an ionomer cover that's going to launch a little bit higher and it's going to stop due to landing angle? If you've got a bit of a higher club head speed, you might still go for a urethane cover. We know that that's the more expensive of the covers, but you can get fantastic deals just like this Seed and many others that are on the market now that will get you that lower ball flight, and they will have a little bit more spin control. So it's essential for you to know what kind of ball flight do you need. Don't let your ego get in there and just go, well, you know, my club head speed is quite slow, but my favourite player is Rory McIlroy, so I'm going to use the exact same golf ball as Rory McIlroy. That's probably going to set you back at least nearly £50 now here in the UK, and they might not last very long.
So
they
might not perform as well as a cheaper ball.
No, and that's true. So obviously they might not perform as well because you're not going to generate enough spin on them. They're not going to come out high enough. They're going to come out lower. You're going to lose distance, if anything, and that's not what you want when you're spending £50 a dozen. But for me here, we've got the urethane cover in the seed. It's obviously a more affordable ball on the range in comparison to the Pro V1, nearly half the price. Gives me the flight that exactly what I'm expecting to see. A little bit of a pull there, but distance wise that has gone pin high, and that for me is the main thing that you're looking when you're getting a golf ball. Yes, that's more affordable than a Pro V1, and it's still going the same distance that I know. It's getting the flight that I want, it's getting the performance that I want, and it will be the same around the green. The green, obviously we're not always relying on spin. How many of you think, well, I need to see those little chips that check up? It's very rare that even myself, James maybe more so than me, gets that check around the green. It's got to be a very high tower shot, it's got to be a perfect strike to get that. So get a golf ball that's going to be good from your scoring zones, especially good off the tee to optimise your distance, to help you get good at golf next year, lower your scores and enjoy that a little bit more.